Welcome everybody to another edition of the Count Up. This
Hey,
is Corey.
This is Lucas, and today we're going to be talking about the WWE Network, but not a review, but if it was the right choice by WWE to make the network.
Well, is the WWE Network a failure?
Is it a failure, and was it the right choice? We're going to be talking about both. We're going to qualify this.
So WWE had this on-demand service before, and they had it where you can pay like $20 a month or whatever to watch some of the old
Was
shows.
it that much?
I don't know if it was 20. I'm just shooting a number
I don't
out in the
remember what
sky.
it was. Wasn't it kind of... It was weird. It was
It was a little more expensive than
and
what
it was
the network
less.
is right
It was
now.
specific stuff. Like each one, they had a specific kind of. It was kind of like the network where they had like kind of special shows on there. Where like maybe they have a month that would focus on like
Exactly, yeah. WrestleMania or Royal Rumble or something like that. They had that with the WWE Network. The WWE On Demand, but then they had it on the website too. They had all the footage they were buying stuff, and so that kind of was a big thing. But right now, obviously, the WWE Network, they were projecting to have 1 million subscribers. They announced after
By
WrestleMania.
what time? Though? By what time?
Well, they were hoping by WrestleMania, because they announced at WrestleMania the day after how many subscribers they had. They're like, we have 667,000. And they were saying anything under 850,000 was not good. Anything under 650,000 was terrible, was a failure. But they had 667,000, so they were just barely out of the failure zone.
They said that. They said under 650,000 would be a failure.
And eyes, yeah. I mean, that's what I was reading. Yeah,
That seems really weird that they'd announced that. Like,
they didn't say that, but that was inside talk.
Inside
Inside talk, yeah, exactly. But because
because
they were saying though that they need like I think 600,000, 56, maybe I forgot how many exact subscribers they needed to break even, because it costs like 70 million to build the network or something like that.
Yeah.
And obviously they're putting a lot of money to it. They're building.
And it's been built for a while.
Legends House. They're putting all these original shows. I mean, they're putting a lot of work into it to pull all these guys in and pull all this stuff together.
Oh yeah.
Is a lot of work to put it all together. And the fact that maybe it was the $10 a month that really hurt it. I don't know.
I know. I was like, when they announced that price, I'm like, wow, that seems really low.
Well, the thing is, they're hurting their pay-per-views now because Dish Network dropped
That's
them.
what I was gonna bring up. Like, okay, so traditional pay-per-views are now traditional pay-per-view carriers are now dropping their pay-per-views, right? So pretty much you only have that 600,000 people watching it. Now that's more than normally would order. Like only normally 200,000 people would order it. But keep in mind, those 200,000 people are ordering it for like $55.
Exactly.
And so yeah, I mean, and plus some people prefer the traditional pay-per-view. And I do too. I agree. Like I like the traditional pay-per-view setup they got.
But I don't know how they're gonna work with, because see, the $10 a month was so cheap, and I think what the problem was that they didn't promote it enough. I think they did promote it decently, but never really got. WWE never really came out and did a bunch of like commercials that were on TV. They didn't try to grab the audience that was used to be a part of the 80s or the Attitude Era to really be like, hey, look at this.
Yeah, this
because that's
what kind of drove us a little bit. We're like, well, we can watch our favorite pay-per-views we like ordered when we were kids, or we wanted to order when we were kids, and all that.
Absolutely, and WWE needed to grab that.
And and the WWE Network is just good for the hardcore fans. A casual fan should not get the WWE Network, nor would they want to get the WWE Network.
A casual fan should get the network. Because they're like, oh, like they said, WrestleMania $60 or $80 for HD, $10 a month.
Yeah.
I mean, in a sense, you're not losing it. I mean, you're saving it, and then you can watch all the other pay-per-views. You can just watch the pay-per-views. You don't need to watch. If you watch every pay-per-view, you saved
a lot of money.
Over $600.
I mean, and that's my favorite thing. I love watching the classic pay-per-views, and I do love watching the pay-per-views live. That's awesome. It saves you a lot of money. But the thing is that it's just the casual fan, like, they maybe just order WrestleMania. And this is a 6-month commitment they have to make, which is, I think that kind of hurts it too. Like, I think that makes some people uncomfortable. It's like a 6-month commitment. They're like, man, what happens if I don't like it? What happens if the service is bad? I can't cancel it. And then there's it's $60. I mean, that might not be a lot to some, but it's a lot to others. And they'd be like, man, I could get a new game for Jimmy instead of getting the network, and you know what I mean. And so that probably hurts too. And then also, I mean, WWE's at an all-time low as well. They released it when they were at a low. WWE isn't like it's rising where it's like, oh, now we have the network and people are like going to WWE, like, wow, the network. It's not like during the Attitude Era. WWE's at a decline right now. They're doing worse.
Well, I think what also hurt it was
wrestling in general,
like I said, but they didn't promote it though. They really, even their go home show, they just had the Undertaker come out. They had Hulk Hogan, but it didn't really have that much. I think some people were surprised that they didn't have as much pushing about the network. And even now, Lucas and I were watching some of Raw, the beginning of it, and the not Jim Ross, I'm sorry, JBL, The King, and Michael Cole were talking, oh, the WWE Network, if you sign up a friend, you get a $25 gift card to the WWE Shop Zone.
Yeah.
I mean, that really shows that they are really desperate for it. Like, they were putting, like, oh, I'm watching it right now on my iPad. Oh, I'm watching it on my laptop.
Yeah, they're desperate.
I mean, they're really pushing it. To get, like, that you and a friend get a $25 gift card, I mean, they're really trying to get this to be big. Because they can't... This isn't one of those things where, like, when TNA does... TNA does, what's it called, Impact 365. That fails, they go, okay, whatever, gut check, whatever, you know, we didn't put that much into it. They put $70 million in this. They put a lot of money into this.
That hurts, that definitely
And you
hurts.
can't just sit there and go, well, it's a failure. You know, they gotta push their butts to try to make it succeed.
They gotta push their butts. Corey, ladies and gentlemen.
But do you think the WWE Network could come back and become a success?
I like the WWE Network. I think it's good, but I think it's gonna fail.
You think it'll end up failing?
I think it'll end up failing. I think WWE did not analyze their target. I'm in marketing, so I mean I'm realizing a lot of this. They did not think their target market out there. Their target market right now is PG, right?
Yeah.
So it's kids, and the parents have to order the network, right?
Yeah.
But like the thing is that there's already enough wrestling on TV to keep the kids occupied with wrestling. I don't mean, like, some kids really like wrestling, and some kids would be like, all right, yeah, I'll get the network $10 a month, just throw it in front of the TV for them, right?
Uh-huh.
But the thing is that with the 6-month commitment, people might not want to, like, you know, do that, like, make that much of a commitment. And obviously with online, even though online is becoming bigger, there's also more for hacking and, like, stuff like that, so people might be afraid because there's been a lot of those, like, attacks.
Mm-hmm.
And that's another thing. And then it's just... They haven't, like, even though they say the pay-per-views, if you, like, they haven't said, like, even if you don't order the pay-per-views, like, yeah, you know, you can watch all the pay-per-views, but in a way, they haven't really established why it's really worth it besides the pay-per-views. Yeah, they said Legends House and yeah, all that and that, but is that really worth it? They haven't really proved why that was worth it. And you're right, that's a marketing thing, and I feel like even though they bring it up all the time, it's just, like, doesn't matter. I feel like the 700,000 who signed up are the 700,000 who wanted it, right off the bat. They signed up right away. No one else is, like, maybe a couple more late adopters. Maybe the $25 will get a couple people going, like, okay, you know, I could, you know, get a couple friends, and they'll be like, oh, you know, $25, then it's only, like, you know, $35, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
But in the end, I mean, that's the thing with anything. When something first comes out, everybody goes for it, because those are the people who really want it. And then after that, it goes down. It plateaus, it hits its peak, and then it goes down. And you can bet that it hit its peak. It's not going to go much higher than that. It might go a little higher. It might be a surgeons, but it's not going to go much higher.
What do you think WWE can do right now to make the network, like, really, like, pop out, be a little more different?
See, that's the hard thing, though, because it's like, it's not as much a problem. Like, I said they didn't do a great job marketing, so obviously if they showed a little bit more, which they have shown a lot, and maybe advertise it outside of WWE.
Well, that's what I was
Even though WWE is, like, the main focus, the problem is with the product itself. It's not a big enough market, in my opinion. You have about 5 million people watching Raw each week, about 3 to 2 SmackDown, and then I think they got Main Event is off TV now, it's only on the network.
Yeah.
But still, I mean, 5 million people, right? Let's just say 5 million viewers. And I'll just say, let's just say 5 million, yeah. And then, like, the thing, like, not all of them are gonna, like, some of them only watch Raw. We'll take into account that. Some of them only just like to watch it on TV. Some of them are just casual to watch it here and there. There's not a huge, like, hardcore. I mean, maybe there's about a million or so really hardcore wrestling fans that would want the network and that would really utilize it. Because a lot of people would be like, well, it's nice that I can watch the pay-per-views, but they're like, but if, you know, I mean, they're like, it's not that big of a deal. And a lot of people would still stream. They're like, oh, $10, but I can just watch the things for free. And I can guarantee there's stream sites that have the Legends House on there, that have all that stuff on there that you can watch for free. Yeah. And that hurts it too. That really does.
Do you think, now see, the big thing they were trying to get was that, oh, we have original content, the countdown,
yeah,
you know, Legends House, they're bringing back Tough Enough.
That's good.
Do you think it would be cool, do you think it would be better if maybe they brought in, instead of wrestling stuff, like an original show that's not about, like with wrestlers, but like, you know what I'm talking about? Maybe like...
What are you saying? Like, you mean like
you know how they do
Divas?
no, like, yeah, not necessarily like that. No, not with wrestling. You know, like, you know how they have the Marine series they're doing, like, just a show, like maybe a cop show or something like that with, like, Wade Barrett and
AJ
Lee. Do you think that would be something that maybe would bring a little more? Because that's what Netflix is now doing, and Amazon.
That's actually a good idea. I didn't think about that.
If they did their own show,
and especially because a lot of wrestlers. I mean, if they're just sitting around, like a lot of these wrestlers aren't ever being used. I mean, yeah, you could like if they want to do acting or if they've done acting. I mean, and yeah, they could put the WWE films on there too. And I mean, yeah, a lot of people are like, I'm sure people aren't crazy for WWE films, but
they're not like, man, where can I find the chaperone?
I love dinosaurs. Just to let you know, but every little thing helps the network. They need everything. Now, they do have a lot of content on there, and they do have a good amount of content. It's just about telling people and like getting people to realize that, wow, Legends House, this is really cool, and I get to watch the pay-per-views, and this, and this. They need to realize that, hey, listen, I'm making a 6-month commitment, and I'm going to have 6 months worth of content. I'm not going to get sick of this in a month. Because maybe that's what a lot of people think. They think like, I'll do it a month, and then I'll see everything I want to see. And like, maybe Count Out doesn't really click for me, or Legends House doesn't click for me. I see the pay-per-views I want to see. And then they're done. And the 6-month commitment keeps them locked in, right?
Yeah.
And I'm curious to see after the first 6 months if the numbers dip down or go up or if
that would be interesting to see. You're right. That's what we really got to look at, those 6 months. How does it affect?
And also, like, now, we haven't had too many problems with the network. At the beginning, there was a few problems, but, like, when we were watching the stream for Extreme Rules, it wasn't bad.
WrestleMania, wasn't
But a lot of people had some errors. Like, a lot of people got,
Xbox crashing. Has had a lot of issues.
And that's a problem. Like, they can't have that.
Xbox is one of the large things that people love using.
And that's not good. I mean, they have to fix that. They have to get pretty much what they have to do. And I know we've been a little bit all over the place. I know I have, and I know you have. It's just been kind of like crazy. Pretty much the network is a good idea on paper. What's the word I'm looking for? It's worthwhile for those who are truly going to use it, who are truly fans, and who truly care about the stuff on there. The problem is that there's not enough of those fans that WWE will truly make a profit on this. They might be able to break even, but at that, it's not going to be much more than that.
Yeah.
They're putting way too much money in this, and it's going to crash on them. Because even though traditional pay-per-views are going down, traditional pay-per-views are still reliable. Because they were still getting, like, yeah, the pay-per-view buy rates are kind of down, and I understand that maybe this is making more than the pay-per-views are. I have no idea. But maybe if there was like a graph or something we could check where it's like, this much, they made this much money off this pay-per-view, and if like the 600,000 subscribers for this month, the $10, that, we'd have to see. And then also the good thing is they don't have to give the pay-per-view providers a cut, so maybe it is making them a little bit more money. But then again, the production cost, they're housing this stuff.
Yeah,
it costs a lot more to run it.
How much are they really cutting?
But the thing is, I bet the pay-per-view guys take away less than like running the network costs per paper.
It must, because we'll look at the production,
yeah,
the fireworks and all that stuff.
They put a lot into it, and it's not like they phoned it in. It's a good product, but like I said, it's like the commitment's a little off. We've got to be sure to advertise it a little more outside and kind of prove why it's worth it. Have more stuff on there, and just I don't know. I want it to work because I do like it, but I almost feel like this might blow up in WWE's face. It's innovative, it's unique, it's a good product. It's no doubt it's a good product. It's really cool, but it's only cool for those 700,000 who really want it.
Now, before we end this video, real quick, WWE Network, it's in the PG era.
Yeah,
that's where it launched. Now, if this launched in the Attitude Era, do you think this will be just as big?
Yeah. Well, you gotta keep in mind, like, that was when wrestling was at an all-time high. And
I know.
And that was when interest was crazy. And if something like this launched in the Attitude Era, people would be going crazy for it.
Just the technology wasn't there.
But then again, you have to keep in mind, though, that wrestling has a longer history now, so there's, like, more stuff now. And in the Attitude Era, people were more just... They wouldn't really care about it what it was before the Attitude Era.
Yeah, it wasn't as much
so
like,
it's kind of
look
weird.
At the 80s, yeah.
But then again, a lot of people were ordering the pay-per-views then, so then more people would be like, you know what, I do want to order the pay-per-views.
And the pay-per-views were only $20, $30 back then.
Yeah, so it's
interesting.
I don't know if it would be better or not. That's weird. Maybe it would only work in this era. Obviously, like, limiting, like, we know we couldn't do it with technology back then, but let's say they could. I don't know. That's an interesting question.
All right, well, I think that's where we'll end it then.
Yeah.
Do you guys think the WWE Network is a failure, and do you think it can come back from this?
And do you have it? Do you like it? What do you think about it? Just let us know.
And we'll talk to you guys later.
Bye.